Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, Cruising Out of Sight. Over the last 20 or so cruises that I've done, I've been working on a comprehensive packing checklist that I use each and every time I cruise now. I've developed it for cruises to the cold areas, such as the Norwegian fjords, Alaska, or for the Caribbean, which is a completely different packing list. And then any mix in between, right? Long cruises, short cruises, you name it. So let's just jump right into it, and we'll talk about all the different things that go into my suitcase. All right, so let's hop right in. This is a pretty long, expansive list, so I'll try to burn through it as fast as I can while still maintaining some amount of advice along the way. This list is in no particular order. It is sorted alphabetically, first by category and then by item name. So the first item on the list is baseball cap. I like to wear these around the ship and at port if I know I'm not going to be out in the sun for very long. If I'm going to be out in the sun for longer periods of time, I've got a big hat a little further on in the list. Next thing is sunglasses. Obviously you want a nice pair, UV resistant. Got to protect those eyes, especially me. My eyes are very susceptible to damage from sunlight. Swimsuits is next up on the list. Again, pretty self-explanatory, right? You're on a cruise ship, it's got a pool, it's got hot tubs. Better bring swimsuits. I bring two. I'm usually staying in an interior room, and my swimsuits take a little longer to dry out. I don't like getting into a wet swimsuit, so I usually bring two if I've got the room. Next on the list is that big hat. If I'm going to be out in the sun for longer periods of time, if I have a beach day scheduled, if I'm going to Coco Cay or Labadee, I'll definitely bring that big hat to protect myself from the sun. Next on the list is boots. This made my list when we went to Alaska. If you're going to be hiking anywhere, if you think it might be a little sloppy, rainy, boots is a good idea. I just have a lightweight pair of hiking boots. Next is a button-up shirt. These are just my short sleeve, regular button-up shirts. I've got a wide variety of Hawaiian shirts, some funny print shirts. I enjoy wearing those for the majority of the days on the cruise, as long as the weather is a little better. Next up is costume. This made my list not too many cruises ago. My daughter was up for wearing some 70s costumes on 70s night. So it could be 70s night, it could be white night, it could be 80s dance party. They've got all kinds of different theme nights depending on the length of your cruise and where you're going and what cruise line you're on. So that's a fun one to pack. Just a little side note, if you see those X's in the far left column, I actually use this as a working spreadsheet. I will place X's in that column as I put the items in my suitcase to make sure I don't miss anything. Next up is Crocs. I find myself wearing these up to the pool. They're nice because you can jump right in the pool with them. Sometimes the deck around the pool is very, very hot and hurts to walk on, so Crocs are nice. You can just walk right up to the edge of the pool, wear them in, or just kick them off at the side of the pool. Absolutely love my Crocs. I wear this kind of knockoff, no-name brand. They're like 17 bucks a pair on Amazon. I absolutely love them. Next up is dress belt. This whole dress section, I don't normally pack this. If maybe I'm going, with my whole family and we want to dress up a little bit, I might bring these. In general, I don't really care to dress up a whole lot. So dress pants, dress belt, dress shoes, dress socks. If I want to dress up, I'll bring those things, but usually I don't want to take the room in my suitcase, and these don't make the cut. Next up is extra sweatshirts. I think I must have sweatshirts on here twice. So if you're going somewhere cold, Alaska, Norway, or maybe even up in Canada in the fall months, bring some sweatshirts. There's nothing worse than wanting to go out on the deck and it's cold and windy out and you don't have the clothing for it. So bring those sweatshirts. Next up is hair goop. So whatever you use, hair putty, hair gel, whatever. It's just something to tame that hair. Next up is a jacket, again for the colder climates, Alaska, Canada, Norway. This is a recurring theme here. But we went to Alaska recently, and I super appreciated having a hooded jacket that was fairly rain resistant. It didn't rain a whole lot while we were there. We never had to break out the rain ponchos, but it was nice to have that jacket that I could cinch up around my face, especially when we were cruising at the Alaskan fjords or Glacier Bay. It was super nice to be able to cinch that hood up when I was up on the bridge, and it was very windy when the ship was underway, but yet I still wanted to sightsee, so take that jacket. Also, a side note, I don't pack all of these things. Sometimes I don't even pack half of these things. It really depends on where I'm going, how long I'm going, what I plan on doing while I'm there. So don't think that I'm taking like 2 or 3 checked bags with me each trip. Jeans. I'll usually wear jeans on the plane ride at the very least. I'm flying from Ohio usually to Florida, so I may ditch the jeans once I get there. I also like to wear them like for formal night. If I don't want to dress up, I might wear jeans to the main dining room, or maybe I'll just keep shorts on and skip the dining room that night. It's really up to how I'm feeling. Khaki shorts. This is what I usually wear on sea days, on port days, in warm climates, obviously. So I usually pack 5-6 pairs of khaki shorts. It depends on how long the cruise is, but it's one of my staples. Long sleeve button-up shirt. That was for formal night. I should have put dress long sleeve button-up shirt. So again, if I feel like dressing up, I might pack that. I usually don't. Masks. I'm so happy to be able to just skip this one. Masks, to me, were so ridiculous during COVID. It was just theater in my mind. You can argue with that in the comments if you want. But the masks that 99.9% of us were wearing didn't do anything, but hey, it made everybody feel better, right? That's all I'll say about that. Neoprene shorts. If I'm going to be at the beach and it's in January, February, maybe even March, maybe December, I like the neoprene shorts. They keep you a little warmer. They keep the chafing down. Really like my neoprene shorts. I'll bust out the full wetsuit if it's really cold out. But if it's not really cold and the water isn't freezing, the neoprene shorts are a nice alternative. Security belt. This is something I wear if I'm going somewhere where I'm a little iffy about the locals pickpocketing. Italy is a big one. I got pickpocketed in Italy last summer, and that was not fun. So a security belt is good to stick your loose cash in, a couple credit cards, your travel documents if you have to carry them with, and you can wear it underneath your shirt. So it gives you an added level of security there against pickpocketing. Sneakers. I used to bring sneakers on the cruise, but lately I've been wearing my Hey Dudes. My wife got me a pair for Christmas, and I absolutely love them. They're so comfortable and super easy to slip on your feet. Love those Hey Dudes. But some kind of footwear that isn't Crocs, something a little dressier, is good to have on the ship. Socks next. Obviously you need socks, right? I use these little ankle high Pumas. I really like those socks. Sometimes people laugh at me because I can be found wearing them under my Crocs sometimes. So that's funny. Here's the sweatshirt that I was talking about. I always bring at least one. I usually like to wear them on the plane. Sometimes it can get a little chilly on the plane. Sometimes it's hot on the plane too, but it's always good to have. A swim shirt. I am adverse to the sun. I will burn like crazy, and so I don't have to slather sunblock all over 100% of my body. I'll wear a swim shirt in the pool if it's very sunny, just to keep down on that sunburn risk. Something real lightweight, something that dries really fast is what I'm looking for there. T-shirts. This is mostly for just chilling around in the stateroom. I generally don't wear t-shirts around the ship. I will. I have nothing against wearing t-shirts on the ship, but I usually wear my button-up shirts around the ship. So t-shirts are just something for hanging out. For me, underwear, don't really need to go into that. Water shoes. My Crocs have kind of taken over this category. But if you've got a dedicated pair of water shoes that you like, I kept this on my list. Same goes for water socks. Water socks might be better than Crocs if you're doing some snorkeling around some coral or reefs and you're afraid, you might step on something. The water socks are nice because they're very, very flexible and they don't float like Crocs do. You might have a little bit of trouble swimming with Crocs on because they're very buoyant. So they're constantly wanting to pull your feet up to the surface. So some neoprene water socks is a nice alternative there. Next up is a webbing belt. This is just a standard belt I wear with some of my khaki shorts and my jeans. I like this magnetic clasp one that I found on Amazon for fairly cheap. Wetsuit. We talked a little bit about this previously, but if I'm going to Coco Cay and I want to go in Oasis Lagoon and the water is like, 80 degrees, 75 degrees, like it gets during January, February, a wetsuit is fantastic. So it just gives you a little extra warmth. You don't get that shock when you walk into the pool immediately. It just makes it comfortable. So I don't travel without mine in the deep winter months. Workout shorts. This is just something I use when I'm walking on the track or if I want to go to the gym and do a light workout. So just something a little lighter than my khaki shorts. Something I can just slip on for a quick workout. Workout t-shirt. I usually will pack these heavy duty Carhartt t-shirts. I didn't really mention that when we were talking about t-shirts. But that fabric on those Carhartt t-shirts is fairly thick, not so great for walking out in the sun a lot up on the upper decks of the ship. So I'll pack a lightweight t-shirt for working out. Airplane tickets. Sometimes I print them on paper. Sometimes I have them on my phone. I go back and forth, but if I want a paper copy, I'll make sure to print and pack those. Backup credit cards. So I'll keep a couple of credit cards in my wallet, and then I'll put maybe 4 or 5 credit cards wrapped up with an elastic band in my backpack. So, sometimes I'll even put them in my carry-on bag as well. So just a stash should I either max out or lose the credit cards that are in my wallet. It's just a backup source of funding there. Bermuda travel authorization. I'm not even sure that they need this anymore. Last time I went to Bermuda, this was something that they required you to fill out and get approved before you left. So I added it to my list. Hopefully they don't require that anymore. You had to pay to apply for the travel authorization. You had to wait to get it back. It was a pain in the butt. Hopefully they got rid of it. Credit cards. That's the ones that are in my wallet, so that's why that's on there twice. Backup set goes wrapped up in a rubber band somewhere else, and then my main credit cards are in my wallet. Cruise travel documents. Should you want to print out your set sail pass, or if there's any other kind of travel documents you might need, depending on where you're going, this is just a placeholder for that. Nothing specific that you need if you're doing everything on the Royal Caribbean app, or you don't need hard printed copies. Excursion tickets. Sometimes, depending on who you're going with, whether it be Shore Excursions Group or Shore Excursioneer or Viator, they do require you to print out and have a hard copy of your excursion tickets. So that's what that's for. ID, self-explanatory. Driver's license, state issued ID. It's good to have the new enhanced ID that you can use for flying, so you don't have to break out your passport for that. But some sort of identification that the cruise ship will accept, depending on where you are going and what you are doing while you are there. Just a word of caution, don't take my word for what kind of ID or documents you need. Make sure to do your homework. My biggest fear when going on a cruise is that I will forget some sort of identification, my passport, my state identification card, my enhanced ID, etc., and I won't be able to board the ship. If you show up at the ship and you don't have the right documents, they will not let you on, and you have almost zero time to recover from that. You couldn't get those documents sent to you in time, or unless you live local, obviously. So make sure you know what identification you need and paperwork, and make sure you bring that with you. Luggage tag holder. These are the clear plastic luggage tag holders that attach with a wire rope to your suitcase. I really like these. They're easy to slip on and off, and they seem to keep your luggage tags secured. I'm not super comfortable with just stapling my paper luggage tags to my luggage and hope that they don't get ripped off. So I like those. Luggage tags are the paper copies, so these are the ones that you would print off of the Royal Caribbean website. A marker, so this is something I use to leave notes to the stateroom attendant. I usually bring a fairly thick permanent marker because I can't see well and I need something a little thicker. So I want to make sure that I have something to write with. I don't know why they don't give you a pen and a pad of paper like they do in hotels on a cruise ship, but they don't. So you'd have to go down to customer service and ask for some paper, ask for a pen. I just bring mine with. A passport, self-explanatory. If you're traveling properly, you'll have a passport. I know you can travel under certain rules with a ID and a birth certificate, but I travel with a passport. I don't want there to be some type of emergency and I get stuck wherever I am waiting for an emergency passport to get processed so I can get home should I miss the cruise ship or a medical emergency or who knows what, something else happens. Post-it notes, these are mainly for leaving notes for your stateroom attendant. I like to leave him or her little thank yous, maybe a request if you want a robe or something special in your room. It's nice to have some paper to jot down a note on. They're also nice for if you're leaving a tip and you want to leave a little thank you note along with, just nice to have. Test results, so glad we don't need these anymore, or at least know where I've gone you need them anymore, but these were COVID test results. I don't know if you cruised during COVID, but we had to take a test the day, or sometimes it was 2 days before, and then provide those results when we got to check in for embarkation. So glad we don't have to do that anymore. Leave a comment down in the notes. What are your thoughts about the vaccine card, the test results, the masks, etc.? Are you happy to be gone with those, or do you kind of miss it? I highly doubt it, but maybe there's some of you out there, who knows? Vaccine cards next. Again, I have not traveled anywhere recently that I've needed a vaccine card, so I generally don't carry it with. I do have a copy saved on my personal cloud storage should I need one, but nowhere I've gone do you need one anymore. Wallet, I use a leather bifold. Just throw some cash in there, some credit cards, my ID. 10-foot USB cord, one of my favorite things to pack. This allows me to get power from the desk outlet all the way to my bedside, and then I use a little battery bank USB hub to split power to all the different things that I need to charge next to my bed. So this alleviates the need for a high voltage extension cord. This USB cord brings that power from the desk to the bedside for ships that don't have USBs right next to the bed, which is most of them. 360 batteries. So this is my Insta360 camera. It really chews up the batteries. So this is I have a little battery bank that holds 3 batteries. It can charge 3 at a time, plus the one I have in the camera. 360 camera, that's my Insta360. Absolutely love that camera for taking footage of things, and you don't have to worry about framing. You just hold the camera up and it records whatever it can see. You don't have to worry about it. Is it pointed in the right direction or whatever? It just captures everything. Absolutely love it. The battery bank, this is a multi-USB port, kind of USB hub battery bank that also does wireless charging. Absolutely love this unit. It will charge my phone like 3 or 4 times on a single charge. Absolutely love it. And then that 10-foot USB cord goes to it, and then I can branch off from there, and I can charge really 5 things at a time off this battery bank. So that's super nice. Bluetooth speaker. I use my Bluetooth speaker primarily for a white noise sound source. I have a super heavy duty Sony Bluetooth speaker that really cranks. So if I get a bad draw and I get a interior room that's close by to the galley and they're banging pots and pans around all night, I can crank that thing up and the fan noise covers up any kind of background noise that's going on. I've also been underneath the pool deck. People are scraping chairs back and forth on the pool deck for whatever reason late at night. What else? Slamming doors in the hallways, loud people out on their balconies. This thing covers everything up. No worries there at all. Next one is earbuds. These are primarily for use on the plane and during travel. I do use them to listen to podcasts and things on the ship as well. So those are nice to have. I really love my Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. Those are some amazing headphones. They sound better than any headphones I've ever owned. I absolutely love those things. Next one's a Euro multi-tap. I bring this pretty much wherever I go because most ships have an American socket and a European socket. So it just allows you to use another socket that you wouldn't be able to use unless you had a European converter from 220 to 110 volt and the different plug configuration. Oh my goodness, I thought I was going to burn through this list fast, but I'm only about halfway through. So appreciate it if you're bearing with me here. Hopefully this is useful information. I do want to touch on the useful bits and provide some advice. So the next one up on the list is extra USB cords. These are, device specific. I have some devices that use USB-C and some that use USB micro. So I got to bring multiple cords. Next is GoPro. I don't use this a whole ton. My 360 camera has kind of taken over from my GoPro. Not that I ever used it a lot. I don't really like the form factor and the user interface on the GoPro. GoPro accessories, these apply to the 360 camera also. The most important one is the floating handle that I can use with my 360 camera as well if I'm snorkeling. Headphones, I usually use these on the plane as well, but sometimes on the ship. I absolutely love my Soundcore Bluetooth headphones. Super cheap. I got them for like $35. And I have gotten the most use out of those. They're just super comfortable. The battery lasts a really long time. Love those headphones. Hole punch. I bring my own because sometimes customer service won't punch your CPAS card for you. If you're on one of the newer ships that uses RFID technology, they won't punch a hole in it. So I just punch my own. That way I also don't have to wait in line in customer service. $2 well spent. Next one is my phone. Who can leave home without their smartphone? But I've done it before, so added it to the list. Phone charger, obviously keep that phone charged up. Phone dry bag. This is nice if you're having a beach day and you don't want to leave your phone on your lounger or whatever. If you're afraid somebody might steal it, you can throw it in one of these dry bags and hang it around your neck with a lanyard. I have ruined a phone. The lanyard was caught in the clasp that makes it watertight, and some water got in, some seawater, and ruined my phone, so that wasn't fun. So I need to be a little more careful when I'm closing the bag to make sure that the lanyard isn't stuck in there, that it's got a nice tight seal. Selfie stick. This is primarily for my 360 camera, so I can hold it above my head and get good shots. Hopefully you all have been enjoying my 360 video that I've been posting on my channel. Appreciate it if you've checked any of that out. Smart tags. I've got 2 of these. One goes in my either carry-on or checked bag, and then another one goes in my backpack. So Should anybody try to snag my bag, it's happened before. Someone snagged my bag on accident, they said. Luckily they brought it back once they got to their car and realized it wasn't the right one. But anyhow, you can check for the location of your bags at any time if you're sitting there waiting at the carousel for your checked bag. You can see how close it is to you. You can also use them in reverse. If you lose your phone, if you misplace it, you can press the smart tag and it'll actually ring your phone. So that's a great feature there as well. Speaker chargers, so this just goes along with my Bluetooth speaker. Can't forget those chargers. My Bluetooth speaker lasts an entire day, but obviously needs to be recharged for use at night. Sunlight alarm, I bought this hoping to use it when I had interior rooms. I heard that it was a great thing to have, but I didn't ever use it. The first time I had an interior room, I just didn't really feel the need. I don't really care what time of the day it is. I'm on a cruise. Who cares what time of day it is? Travel fan. Sometimes the rooms are kind of stuffy. There's not a lot of air movement. So I like to bring one of these little USB fans just to keep the air moving if it is kind of stuffy in there. Absolutely love having the ability to plug this into my battery bank. I don't even need a wall power source. I can plug it into my battery bank and run it off that for quite a while. A watch. I bought a smartwatch with the hopes that I could put entertainment things, stuff like that in there, and it would remind me. I never really ended up using it. I haven't worn a watch in like 30 years. So I just couldn't get back into the habit of, strapping on the watch. It's just another thing to have to remember. But I kept it on the list. There might be an opportunity where it might come in useful. Bingo dauber, if you're planning on playing bingo and you've bought daubers in the past, you might as well bring them with you so you don't have to pay the $1 or $2 that they charge you for a new one. Binoculars, I don't bring these a whole lot, but if I'm going somewhere with scenic cruising, or I'm going to New England and Canada next month on some sightseeing, so I think they'll be useful for that, mountain views and things like that. I don't bring them normally. Another good idea would be if you're expecting to see whales or something, bring those binoculars along with, because you never know how far off they're going to be. Breath mints, self-explanatory. It's always good to have something while you're traveling to freshen your breath up. Cane, this is my mobility cane. I am legally blind, so when I'm in the airports, cane is useful. Not as much for me, but to help other people understand what my limitations are, like when I'm going through security. If the TSA person understands, hey, that person is legally blind and might need a little more help, it just helps ease that interaction. So it's good to carry with. The next list is just charging all of my different electronic things. I want to make sure I leave home with a nice full charge. Most of these items can last the entire trip without being recharged, but it's also always good to leave home with a full charge. So that goes all the way from the charge my 360 camera all the way down to charge my headphones. Coin pouch. This is something I grabbed so that if I'm carrying around a bunch of casino chips, I don't have a chance of losing one or two of them because they're fumbling around in my pocket loose. I put them all in a coin pouch, and I can actually clip that to my belt even to make sure I don't lose it. So I found that to be very handy. Cooling towels come in handy if you're going somewhere super hot and humid. You can just put a little bit of water on these, get them a little, nobody likes that word, so I won't say it. Get a little water on them and hang them around your neck, and they really, really help cool you down. You can just shake them out and put them back on, and they keep replenishing themselves until they dry out. And you can just replenish the water with a water bottle or drinking fountain or whatever. Dirty closed trash bag. Yeah, I like to bring a scented trash bag with, and I'll just throw it in my closet, and then any dirty clothes go in there. So instead of having a hamper or something, just a trash bag works good enough. keeps all the stink in, keeps them separated from my clean clothes should I have a change of cabin, or even on the way home, so I don't have to wash everything if there's items that I haven't worn. Dry bag backpack. This is great. It's a super lightweight backpack that has a dry bag enclosure on the top. Keeps all the sand out more than the water. I've never really gotten it wet all that much, but it's got a super nice seal, so it keeps everything inside separate if you're going for a beach day. And it's lightweight too, so much easier to carry than a thick, heavy backpack. Dry erase board. This is more for if I'm going on a cruise with somebody else and we go do our own things during the day. Just I can leave a note and say, hey, I'm at the casino, or I went up to the buffet, or whatever. Just a great way to communicate. I found that other passengers on the ship also like to leave little notes on there as well, so it's kind of fun, a little back and forth action with your fellow cruisers on the dry erase board, whether it be a note or a little doodle or whatever. It's just kind of fun. Duck bin. I bring these 3D printed ducks with me. That's the next item actually on the list. And I put this little bin on my door, and it says, take a duck off of my door. They're little magnetic ducks, so they stick to my door. It says, take a duck and leave a duck. And I've gotten some pretty interesting presents in there. I've gotten bracelets. I've gotten, ducks of all kinds. I've gotten candy bars. I've gotten all kinds of stuff. So again, just a fun little thing to do with fellow cruisers. Elastic bands. These come in handy for all kinds of stuff, wadding up some money that you want to take with, keeping your credit cards together. 1,000 different uses for elastic bands while you're traveling. Floaties. I don't bring these along with a whole lot, but if I do have a beach day planned, or I'm going to Labadee, these are nice at Labadee or Coco Cave, and you can just lounge around in the water and have a little buoyancy from some floaties. I think a pack of 6 of these on Amazon was like $6, so super cheap. If you pop a hole in it, you just throw it away. It's not a big deal. Glasses, I wear contacts, but just in case I were to get something in my eye, or get an eye infection, or for some reason couldn't wear my contacts, I like to have glasses along with. It would be a terrible disaster if you couldn't put your contacts in and couldn't see for the rest of your vacation. That would be really, really bad. Glasses strap. This is for if I'm going to go on, maybe I'm going on some roller coasters or zip lines or something. I want to make sure I don't, lose my sunglasses. I'll bring a glasses strap along with. I really like the surgical tubing ones. Super simple, but yet they hold them super secure to your head, so it's great. Gum, just along the same lines as the breath mints. Keep that breath fresh when you're interacting with people, at the airport or traveling or whatever, when you don't have access to your toothbrush. Lanyard, I use this primarily for my SeaPass. I punch a hole in it, like I said previously, so it's nice to have a little lanyard with a clip. You can hang the SeaPass around your neck. It makes it much harder to misplace. I can hang it from a hook when I'm in the room or taking a shower or whatever. Love my lanyard. Magnetic hooks, these are fantastic for some just extra storage in the room. I hang my backpack from them, my big hat, my other hats, my baseball hats. You can hang towels off of them. It's nice to have just extra storage area, keep stuff up and off the floor, off of the couch, off of the desk, that kind of thing. Money clip. If I have a whole lot of money, like tip money or whatever, I'll just slap one of these binder clips on there. I don't actually use a money clip. These binder clips are like $1 and they work just fine. So no need for an expensive money clip. Nose hair trimmer. I'm getting to be old man, so I constantly got something sprouting out of my nose. So if I'm on a longer cruise, I'll bring the nose hair trimmer along. I can probably go a week without it, but anything longer than that, I'll bring it with. Make sure there's a new battery in there that is not rechargeable, so I always make sure I got a fresh battery if I'm taking that with. Smart tag batteries, not sure why these things wear the batteries down so quickly, but I find myself replacing them every few months or so. Snorkel, I really like this full face snorkel. It keeps the salt water off of your lips, keeps mostly stuff from dripping down your eyes. Even if there is a leak from, if you haven't shaved cleanly or you get some hair in there, if water does come in, it just pushes right out when you breathe. It's not like one of the masks that only covers your eyes and nose, where when water gets in there, you can't clear it out. So I absolutely love the full face snorkel. I think the view is a lot clearer through it as well. So really like that. Super glue, 1,000 different uses. The most common is probably my ducks. Sometimes one of the magnets falls out and a little dab of super glue gets that magnet back in there. Tarp clips. This is a funny story. I had bought my wetsuit and I was on a solo cruise, and I think I was at Coco Cay. Yeah, pretty sure I was. And I got back to the ship and I go to take my wetsuit off and I couldn't get it off. I couldn't reach far enough to pull it down off of my shoulder. It's fairly tight fitting. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, I can't get this wetsuit off. I'm gonna have to ask my stateroom attendant to come to my room and help me undress. That's awkward. So I rigged up these tarp clips, and I can attach a string to it or a rope, and I can clip it to my shoulder area of my wetsuit, and then use my foot to pull it down off of my shoulder if I'm by myself. So I got myself a kind of a funny little bind there. I did eventually get it off. I was able to wiggle against the doorknob of my room and get it down enough where I could reach behind my back and grab it and pull it down. It was kind of funny, I thought. Tip money, I usually bring $100, maybe $150 of ones. I like to give out tips to people, on the crew on the ship. Bartenders, people clearing my plates, maybe at the buffet, coffee people, just all kinds of people. I like to give tips just as my way of appreciating them, showing that, we do care a little bit extra above and beyond what we've paid for the cruise itself. A tumbler, I like to bring a cup along with if I'm going to a long show in the theater. I can fill a drink up in the tumbler and then grab another drink, because you can't get drinks halfway through the show unless you leave the venue and walk up to the bar. So always good to have 2 drinks if you need it, or if you're at the pool, you want to lay in a lounger and you don't want to run to the bar constantly, you can again have 2 drinks. Walking sticks, if I'm not using my cane, sometimes if I'm at port, I might use a walking stick. My biggest problem is I'm liable to miss curbs and stairs. So it's always nice to have something I can feel ahead of myself and make sure I'm not going to fall over because I've missed a drop off or something like that, or trip over a curb when I'm approaching it, step up. So, zip ties, kind of right along with the rubber bands. There's 1,000 different uses. I've used them to fix a broken zipper on my suitcase. The little pull tab pulled off, so I was able to reaffix it with a zip tie. There's 1,000 different uses for zip ties. Allergy meds. I found that if I go somewhere, I might encounter some allergens that I don't have at home and I'm not immune to. So always good to have some generic allergy meds along with. Just a note on any of these medicines or things like that I'm showing here. These are just examples. Please don't take my word for what you should be using or taking. Make sure to, this sounds really cliche, but consult your doctor before taking any medication. Aloe, if you're susceptible to burning, you know all about this one. It's always good to have some relief if you think there's even a chance you might get burned. Antacid, if I'm drinking a lot of cocktails, I quite often will need some antacid before I go to bed so I don't wake up in the middle of the night with some kind of acid reflux emergency going on. So, aspirin, self-explanatory. You can get this down at the customer service desk, but it's always just good to have your own. Doesn't take up hardly any space, might as well bring some with. Same with Band-Aids. I'm pretty sure you can get those at customer service, but I bring my own. just so I don't have to go wait in line if I should need one. I can even throw them in my backpack if I'm going on shore and I'm doing a lot of walking and I think I might get a blister or something. I'll slap some Band-Aids in there. Clippers, these are rechargeable clippers that you can trim your hair with, or sometimes I shave with them. If I don't want a close shave, I'll just kind of clean up with the clippers. Cologne, you want to smell good. You're around all those people on the ship. You don't want to go around all stinky. So I'll take my cologne with. Contacts, can't live without them. I've got really severe myopia, so the contact lenses let me be at least functional. I'm actually going for cataract surgery fairly soon, so it's going to be kind of weird. I've been wearing contacts for the last 35 years. After cataract surgery, hopefully I won't need contacts anymore, so that'll be interesting. Deodorant, self-explanatory, isn't it? I meet far too many people on the ship that I wish I had an extra deodorant I could hand them and say, hey, you might want to, look into this. But anyhow, deodorizer, it's really not the word for it, right? It's air freshener. I bring one of these like Glade stick-ups or whatever to put in the room. I've had some stinky rooms and I don't want to, go request a new room just because of a little stink. So I'll just put a little deodorizer in there. Eye drops. These are medicated eye drops. I used to get eye infections quite often, and that can ruin your day. So I'll bring a little bottle of these with just to, in the emergency that I should have some issue with my eye. These usually solve it within 5 or 6 hours or so. Febreze, this is good for spraying on your clothes. Wrinkle release is excellent. Kind of freshen things up a little bit. Medicine, if you take any kind of regular medicine, obviously you want to pack that so you can take it on your vacation. At the end of this video, I'll also have another list of things that I put in my backpack. So this is one of those items where I'll put it in my main carry-on or check bag, but also in my backpack. So if one of those two gets lost, I still have a backup stash of the critical things that I need. Not if you need medicine and you lose your medicine on vacation or your bag gets misplaced or whatever, that could ruin your vacation quickly. So don't put yourself at risk there. Moisturizer, self-explanatory, right? Dry elbows, dry whatever. Neosporin, again with the Band-Aids, if you get a cut or whatever, the Neosporin helps out. Prilosec, if I think about it, and I'm going to be having a lot of drinks, I'll take this beforehand. It just keeps me from having to take antacid later. It's a prophylactic, right? It keeps you from having to take the medicine after it's too late. Shaving, I usually bring disposable razors along with, and sometimes I use those and sometimes I use the clippers that we talked about previously. Stain stick, I love these Shout wipes. Super convenient. They don't take up hardly any space. You don't have to worry about them spilling or breaking open and liquid getting everywhere. So these wipes are fantastic. Sunscreen, again, based off of your susceptibility to getting sunburn, I usually use a pretty high SPF, but obviously use whatever makes sense for you. Toenail clippers, another one of those items I only bring if I'm going to be gone for multiple weeks at a time. I'll bring those with. Toothbrush goes without saying, I hope. I don't know. Toothpaste the same way. And then toothpicks, I like these little dental picks for cleaning, errant pieces of steak out from between your teeth or whatever. Got to keep those teeth clean. So I'm curious to hear from you. Are there any items that I didn't cover that are critical for you to bring on your cruise? Are there things that maybe you always bring with you but you never find yourself using? I might have a little list of those a little later on. But before that, let's talk a little bit about the emergency backup things that I put in my backpack. Well, I guess the very first one on the list isn't a backpack or backup item, but rather a necessity that I need on the airplane. I say necessity, I can live without it. I have lived without it before, but earbuds are a lifesaver on the plane. You got screaming kids, you got annoying people telling their entire life stories in the seat behind you. Slap those earbuds in, especially a pair that has some nice noise cancellation. It's a lifesaver. Masks was on the list from COVID. Thank God that is gone. I slap my gum and breath mints in my backpack to make sure they're close at hand. I keep my cane in there because I need it going through security, or sometimes in super busy parts of the airport. I'll use that. So here's the backup portion of the list. I slap a pair or two of shorts in there. One of my big fears is that my checked bag will get lost either at the airport or when I check it into the porters at the cruise port, and I don't want to be stuck without any clothes or have to rely on the cruise line to get me some clothes that don't fit properly or clothes that I don't like or something. That would absolutely ruin my cruise. So I figure if I have the pair that I'm wearing plus the pair that's in my backpack, I could probably get along, do a load of wash every single day, change my clothes every day with the backup set, and still get by. It wouldn't be fun, but I'd get by. Same goes for socks and underwear, and I usually slap 2 or even 3 shirts in the bag. I don't want to be the guy on the cruise that is wearing the same clothes every single day. I bring my sweatshirt with in the backpack. It might be cold on the plane. I find it nice and comfy to slap that hoodie on and kind of snuggle into your seat and hopefully have a nap on the plane. Passport, I probably need that going through security anyhow, so that's in my backpack. I also don't want to lose that. Vaccine card harkens back to COVID days. Sunglasses go in the backpack. Need those for travel. Contacts, I bring a full supply. If I'm on vacation for 20 days, I'll bring like 25 to 30 pairs of contacts. One set in my check bag, another full set in my backpack. So if I lose either or, I still have a full set, and I'm not worried about having to wear contacts for multiple days or who knows what. Sometimes you lose one putting it in, so it's always good to have some extras too. Same goes for medicine. Full supply in the check bag, full supply in the backpack in case you lose one or the other. And then headphones. Sometimes I'd rather wear headphones on the plane. Mine aren't as good at noise canceling, so there's times when the headphones would be better than the earbuds or vice versa. But those are the critical things I put in my backpack. As far as things that I have brought with me on cruises that I don't necessarily always use, or things that I don't really normally bring with me anymore, I kind of had those on my main list. I just never took them off because there's always the chance that I will want to bring them with. But I kind of mentioned it already. Binoculars, I don't use them a whole lot. I usually have every intention of using them, but when I pack them, I just don't use them. So those usually don't come with. Floaties is another one. I have every intention of using them. I bring them with, but I just don't end up using them, or I forget them on the ship when I'm going on shore or something like that. So there's quite a few items in that list that I will bring but not use. Band-Aids might be another one. Hopefully I don't need to use them. I don't know that I've ever used a Band-Aid, but it's on my list. It doesn't take up hardly any space. It doesn't weigh anything, so I bring it along with. So if I don't want to bring something along with, I'll just put an X next to it as if I've packed it and just skip right over it. GoPro is another one. I've got the 360 camera now. I'll just put an X by the GoPro unless there's a specific reason I want to bring it with. So I don't take those items off my list. I think it's better to have them on the list than to not have them at all. Well, hopefully that was helpful for you. It was quite a long list of items, but obviously we flex things in and out, as appropriate to the cruise that we're going on. Hopefully that'll help you on your next cruise to figure out, what am I not going to need, or what can I not afford to miss packing before I leave?
If you appreciated this content, I'd really appreciate a like on this video. And if you haven't done so already, if you could also slap a subscribe with the alarm bell on, I'd really appreciate that as well. Have a good one.